sun, salt, and a breeze that smells like pure adventure. This is the Aegean coastline in all its glory. We're standing at a place where time moves at a lazy, leisurely pace, and people still remember the names of their neighbors' dogs. Today, though, we're not diving into the sea, we're diving into the land. Ahead of us lies the weekly provincial market of a small town in Greek Macedonia. A place where grandmothers haggle with military precision and old men sip coffee while discussing politics as if they've been prime ministers for 30 years. But before we step into this beautiful chaos, tell me, can you already smell that unique mix of fresh fish, dried oregano, and honest sweat? Yes? Perfect. We're in the right spot.
Ξεπροβαλέ μες στο στρατή το χέρι να σου δώσω. Το στρώμα σου για δω. Για σένα και για μένα ένα αγκαλιαστούμε απ' την αρχή. Όλα αναστημένα αγκαλιαστούμε απ' την αρχή. Να όλα αναστημένα.
We start walking between the stalls, lined up like colorful soldiers. Tomatoes, eggplants, bell peppers. All the good stuff that makes you instantly forget those sad, tasteless imports from the supermarket. These vegetables aren't trying to be pretty. They were just born that way. One vendor lifts a giant pumpkin like it's a golden trophy and shouts a price that sounds more like a traditional folk song than a number. Don't worry if you don't speak Greek. Everything is understood through hand gestures, wide smiles, and a little bit of theatrical arm waving. This is the local language of commerce. Now, let's move to the fish stand. Oh, this is serious business. These fishermen have been up since 4 a.m., wrestling the sea, and now they're displaying their shiny sea bass on ice, as if posing for the cover of a seafood magazine. The seller grabs one by the tail and announces today's catch with the pride of a champion. I personally don't know much about fish, but judging by the sparkle in his eyes, this must be the equivalent of a diamond in the fish world. wander over to the clothing section, racks of t-shirts with catchy English phrases that nobody locally understands, but everyone buys anyway. I love Athens, hanging right next to Santorini Baby. And there's one cheerful guy selling socks, promising they're anti-stress. He sells them by the handful, and people are queuing up like it's a Black Friday sale. And the flowers. An entire stall that looks like a garden just fell from the sky. Behind it stands an old grandma with rosy cheeks, gently watering her orchids and smiling at every passerby. She's not just selling plants, she's healing souls, one pot at a time. You buy one little basil plant, and she says Kalimera so warmly that you want to buy a second one just to hear her say it again. Around us, there are also pans, wooden spoons, and pots that look like they've been passed down from Homer's time, only much cheaper. You know, sometimes I think that in our big cities, we've completely forgotten what it feels like to actually touch our food before we eat it. Here, every single product carries a piece of someone's hard work. That guy in the worn-out shirt, that woman with the rough, weathered hands. And every single one of them greets you like you're an old friend who's been away for 20 years. This kindness isn't rehearsed or forced. It flows naturally in the blood of the Macedonian people. It's just like their olives, a little bitter at first bite, but leaving a warm, unforgettable aftertaste that stays with you long after you've left. And just when you think this day couldn't get any more perfect, our eyes land on him, the street musician, standing under an old fig tree, with a worn-out guitar and eyes that tell the story of 100 similar markets. He isn't singing for pocket change, he's singing for the soul. The very first chords cut right through the market noise, and people stop in their tracks. Not because they have to, but because they simply can't move. Even the fishmonger puts down his prized sea bass and starts tapping his foot to the rhythm. As he plays, I realize that this whole market is turning into a stage. The vegetables, the fish, the flowers, the t-shirts, they're all just extras in this little daily movie that Greece directs every single morning. The musician doesn't ask for anything. He just wants to share a small piece of himself. And in that moment, it hits me. This market isn't really about shopping. It's about connection, with people, with flavors, and with melodies. And so, with the final strum of his guitar, we slowly walk away, bags full of goodies, but heads completely empty of all the stress we came with. If anyone ever asks you what Greece is really about, don't tell them about the fancy rezzer.
Jadi dikerimuti kata mabrizoi